This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, join the Lesson 1 Club, and attend their annual convention, Sheep Show, Reno, Nevada in 2020. For more information, go to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 106. Today, Kelly and I are hanging out in the studio. We're going to do a quick recap of, we got some things sent in to us about backpacking related to our Packing for Sheep Country episode we did last week. We'll blast through some of that stuff. We'll talk a bit more about the Hilleberg tents that we got. We're going to talk about fishing, a few other things. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. If you guys have been waiting for decals, well, we have been waiting for them as well. They've finally been printed and we're sending them out this week. You guys should have them by next week. So apologies to anybody who has been waiting for one. Appreciate all the reviews. You guys have been doing lots of people saying, hey, is it too late? No, you can keep that going. All you have to do is leave a rating and a review for us. Take a screenshot of it, send it to us with your mailing address, and we'll send you a caribou in the mail. Please do support our sponsors. Wild Sheep Foundation. You can go to wildsheepfoundation.org, become a member, join the Lesson 1 Club, and join us in Reno, Nevada next year. All the details are up on their website, wildsheepfoundation.org. Sick Gear is a supporter of the show. All of our stuff is listed on our website. Go to our gear tab, rookiehunter.com, and you can see all the stuff that we've been using. Love it. Recommend it. You can click on the photos. It'll take you right to Sika's website, and you can get more information and get some stuff for yourself. And of course, North Arm Knives. Go to northarmknives.com. My favorite is the Mallard. I'll be bringing that up north with me. I don't leave home without that thing. Let's get into this episode. Sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy episode 106 with me and Kelly. I hate mustard, actually.
Oh man, I love mustard. Grainy mustard?
Yeah, I can do grainy.
You don't like Frenchies?
No, keep that shit away from me. I get offended if I make burgers, especially like if it's wild meat and people put ketchup and mustard on there. It's like, fuck's sakes, you putting that disgusting shit on there.
I like mustard. I'm not a big ketchup fan.
Yeah. Just the smell of like Heinz ketchup makes me want to puke, man. I don't know what it is. If I go to a restaurant and they do like a in-house made ketchup, I'm all for it. I'll give that a go.
That's odd. I never really heard of anybody that didn't like ketchup other than me.
Yeah, people
but I'm
find
a big
it
fan
strange.
of mustard.
Yeah.
Any kind of mustard.
I'll throw just like a sausage on a bun. Just bread and bun. if the only two options are to add ketchup and mustard to it, get that shit out of here. Yeah.
I'll go mustard and sauteed onions.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. If
relish.
Now we're talking. Mustard relish.
Mustard relish is good.
Man, there's this old couple in Kelowna here that I don't know the name of it offhand, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, they make their own. They sell it at the.
Is it called Devilish?
I don't know. It comes with a little jar. It's got like a little string thing on there with the tag. Yeah. Holy fuck, is it ever good?
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of
that on like an elk burger or mule deer. Oh man, getting hungry, Kel. How you doing, man?
How good?
What do we got on tap? This is tasty, and it's the second. Well, this is a different one than I had last night, but this is twice in 2 days that I've had a
Moon Underwater.
Yeah,
nice.
I can't remember
the Copper Kettle Sour.
The one I sent you a photo of was I think it was just like a dirty Pilsner, like an unfiltered Pilsner. That was really, really tasty. So I sent you a photo because, I'd never even seen this before.
Yeah. We have a Pilsner here too.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know where it went.
'Tis the season.
It's not a dirty one though.
Yeah, this one looks kind of unfiltered too. I like the unfiltered ones, man. Yeah. More like German.
I don't like the bottom. You know, if you get stuck with the last glass.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You get all that
silty shit. in there.
Yeah, like what is that? I feel like
Just
it's
like sediment.
I feel like that's what's giving me a headache.
Could be. You're not supposed to eat that part. But yeah, this is good, man. We got a few people reached out. Let's just be honest, extremely unprepared for this episode. None of us have really been around much and just busy. And it seems like the long weekends kind of throw your week off too. Anyways, enough excuses. We did get some feedback based on the packing episode we did last week. We may or may not. I'm not going to say too much until it actually happens. I have a friend of mine that's going to give us. Basically, he said he was going to go through each item that we mentioned, and he's going to give us some feedback on
Nice.
yes or no that should come.
Cool.
And I trust this guy very much so, and I'll explain why if this comes together. So no promises, but it sounds like he's going to work on it. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that'll be fun as a sort of full-on recap and get his opinion on it. And then with that episode, assuming it happens, we'll get you guys to chime in too and see what you think. So that'll be kind of fun. We got a few things. So Daniel sent us a message, said, I noticed Callie saying he's packing an InReach and a Garmin 64. Have you guys considered the Garmin InReach? That is the GPS and InReach in one. It's the cat's meow. He says he has one for personal and one they use for search and rescue because they can text each other on them, as well as use as a handheld and like classic InReach features on there. It's called the Explorer Plus.
Yeah. Even the minis.
Minis
cool.
are sweet, man. Yeah.
So the story of my InReach, I got this thing as a gift from family because, it's a safety item. It's an important safety item. Super appreciated. So after a couple seasons, I remember I parked the truck in the driveway at my house, and I go in there the next morning. My binos are gone, and my InReach is gone. So it was kind of right at the time that they were switching from the old model to the new model. I almost wish it would have happened a year later, because then I would have just got the new model. But what happened was they're still on the same platform, and they had all these old models left, and it just happened that they all went on sale for like 50% off.
Yeah.
And I got the old one for like a couple $100,
Yeah,
brand
that's
new.
sweet.
So it kind of worked out from that sense. I really didn't want to drop another $500 on
Something you already dropped $500 on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I have seen the mini. I haven't seen the new, like, larger ones with the screens. But I mean, yeah, I would much rather have one instead of packing two.
Yeah, for sure.
Two things. But I mean, someone else can carry the GPS, and I can take the InReach and
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Because I think Garrett's going to have an InReach as well, which is probably good to have the two of them, because there's a good chance we're going to split up and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's technology.
Yeah, and maybe you could strap we can throw the GPS on my belt, and then we've all got something.
Yeah,
something on us.
And we do have some places mapped out, so we'll flag them before we go, and then we'll know. It's amazing when you get up there and you see, you have the vision in your head from Google Maps, but when you're out there, sometimes that draw looks like the big draw that you want to go into.
Yeah.
But it really turns out that it's around the corner, and then it turns out to be like 10 times as big.
Yeah.
So it's a perception thing. It makes it hard to navigate sometimes unless you're familiar. But
here's a question for you. So Garrett's going to have his InReach, you're going to have yours. If the two of you are in different locations, can you message each other?
I believe so, yep. You just need the InReach number. So each one will have a number.
Cool.
And you should be able to direct message.
Sweet. That's useful.
Yeah. And it's cool with the phone too. Like you Bluetooth to your InReach, and then you just kind of text.
That's what I like about the minis, because it doesn't really matter that it's small, because you just sync it up to your phone and you're good to go. Yeah, so that's cool. I think if I ever buy one, I don't really feel like it's necessary, because you guys have them, so we don't need 3 InReaches out there. But if there comes a time where I get one, we'll probably look at this option and as something to pick up. So
yeah,
Mike gave us some feedback on the oatmeal. That's kind of my go-to for breakfast. I'm double thinking this actually, but we'll come back to that. Oh shit! Hold on a sec.
I've got it here.
Okay.
He said, oatmeal is my go-to for breakfast, and what I do is get a big bag of apple cinnamon oatmeal from the bulk food place. In an individual Ziploc bag for each day, I put 1 cup of oatmeal, the amount of dehydrated milk powder to make 1 cup of milk, and then you can get individual peanut butters in their own package. The peanut butters are a little heavy, but 250 calories and delicious, and the whole thing is 1,000 calories, which that's a pretty big ass breakfast.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is boil 1 cup of water and stir it into a Sea to Summit expandable bowl and scoop the peanut butter into it. Tons of good calories and takes less than 5 minutes to prepare. Wipes clean in a couple drops of water and a napkin, and doesn't make a mess of your pot.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've never had any real issues with cleaning it. I don't even bother putting it in another bowl. I just eat it right out of the pot that I cooked it in. So you're not making extra dishes for yourself. I usually do, I think I did a cup last time and it was too much. So I think I might do like 3/4 of a cup. And then because I usually dehydrate a whole bunch of fruit, bring that for snacks. I'll throw dehydrated apples and cinnamon. And then what I like to do is just throw a big lump of coconut oil in there just for some extra fats and stuff. And I don't even bother with powdered milk or anything like that. I'll crack some salt in there too, just for some extra minerals. That's always good to your sweat and everything like that. You got to get some salt back into you. And then just like enough water to just cover it basically. Boil that. It doesn't take long with those quick oats, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But I was looking at I should have wrote it down, what these bars were. They're really small. And like, you know what? Fuck it. I might just bring one of these bars every day for breakfast, because then basically you just get up, throw one of those down. There's no messing around. No, it was something different. They were quite small, and they were on sale actually. Like they were like $1 each, which is crazy. I should have just bought like a couple of cases of them, but I just wanted to try them. And they only have 3 to 5 ingredients each, depending on which ones you get. Neither of us are really early morning breakfast guys anyway, so something like that, just in your pouch on your hip belt, to eat half it when you get up, eat the other half once you've done a bit of hiking, and then you've got all your other snacks. So I might do that. I'm going to weigh it out and see which makes more sense. But from a timing perspective, to just wake up and open up a bar kind of makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a breakfast person in the first hour of getting up, but as soon as that hour crosses, I'm like starving. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, I usually eat around like 10:30.
Yeah.
Coffee is essential though. That's non-negotiable. I need a coffee as soon as we get up.
Yep.
So yeah, anyways, that's good tip. And either way, I don't find it too bad to clean up after. So
yeah.
And it's quite, you know what? I often like oatmeal's a good, like say it's a cool afternoon or even in the evening, just to have oatmeal is quite nice too. Just a nice warm thing if it's a shitty day. So I'll probably bring a few anyways, but I'll keep thinking on this one if I'm going to do bars or if I'm going to do oatmeal.
Yeah, I think, and it's a good alternative to Mountain House. Like you don't want to have more than one, and not just Mountain House. I kind of use Mountain House as a word for like all dehydrated food, but, or freeze-dried food. But there are some good freeze-dried options for like the dinner side of things. Not just Mountain House, but what was the one? Backcountry Pantry or something like that. They're kind of like more involved. They have like individual packets of spices, and it's kind of like a 5-step process instead of just dumping water in.
Right.
But I had some of those in the moose hunt, and it was pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. They're a couple bucks more each, whatever. I mean, you're going on one trip a year, so I don't really factor cost into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of good calories. And they make sure there's a ton of salt in there too, just because they know you're going to be working. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I think there was more stuff, man, but I'm just too unorganized to figure that out. So we'll circle back. We'll do sort of a packing recap. I did get out backpacking. I took my wife and my brother-in-law and the dog, and we hiked into an area. It was about, I guess we probably did around 15, 16 kilometers in. And we brought the Kaitum, all 3 of us, plus the dog. I offered my brother-in-law the 2 if he wanted it, but he said, no, I'll just stay in the same tent as you guys. Man, there's more than enough room. So Ashley and I put our bags in the front vestibule, the bigger one. I did bring the ground sheet, which is actually the footprint from my old mech tent. Put that in the vestibule in the front. We got to bring that because it just helps keep things clean. And so you can get yourself organized. You can put all our packs out there. We can lay out shit to get organized and leave your boots there and all that. And then Jesse had his stuff out the back vestibule. So I should have taken a photo because Ashley and Jesse were just kind of hanging out in the tent, and I was sitting in the vestibule just getting my stuff organized and putting stuff away. And the amount of room is just crazy, man. So I think if we're stuck in there, we're going to be quite comfortable. You could easily put a fourth guy in the vestibule.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Crazy.
Yeah. And if you're even like 4 guys could cram into the main tent too. So you can get a lot of people in there, man.
So you didn't have any issues. Like, well, all 3 guys are pretty skinny.
Yeah.
But you didn't have like the bumping shoulders.
No, not at all. And Oscar was in there too, lying right between us. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, man. I think it was a good
choice.
Good purchase. Yeah. So for my pack, I brought everything we sort of covered, the mutually stuff that we agreed on that we both be bringing. So as far as clothing and stove and kitchen stuff, I actually had extra stuff because I was packing that for Ashley and I and for Jesse. And so I had the full tent. I took all the weight on that one. They didn't bring anything. All they carried was their sleeping bags and mats. So I probably had a little bit more in that area, like a little extra weight, but I wasn't packing the food. I put all the food in Jesse's backpack, and it was just for one night, so it wasn't that much anyways. But with water, all my gear, minus the rifle, was right at 50 pounds. So I felt pretty good about that.
Nice.
Yeah. So got to add food weight on top of that one. But and my
pounds.
rifle, but that's not too bad.
Yeah. I think we're going to be in that 70 range with the rifles.
Yeah.
It's hard because everybody says what their pack weight is, but then are you including water in your rifle and your,
Yeah, so that did include water at least. So
yeah. And then how much water do you take usually? Like how much water are you going to pack on this? 2
I don't know.
liters or 3 liters?
2, I think, is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's, I think, 2 pounds a liter.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the maps, it looks like we're going to be around a lot of water. So
actually, the Camelback that I had brought in with me is 1.5 liters, and that was okay. It gets you enough to sort of get you through a day.
Yeah.
But if you run in, like, it's nice to have a little reserve too. But it depends on if we're camping somewhere and I know there's water, then I could get by with 1.5 liters, no problem for the day. Yeah. Especially if we're just glassing and stuff. But if it's going to be a harder day, I think it's worth it to fill up 2 and just be safe. Because we ran into that when we were up north a couple of years back there, where we wanted to keep going, but we were getting dehydrated and we had all run out of water. And we didn't know how easily or how soon we'd be able to get back down to the river to fill up. So
the path kept going up and we knew it went back down, but we just didn't know at what point. So it could have been another 2 hours.
Could have been. And I think Garrett went further and found out that it did sort of just stay up high and stay away from the river for quite a while there. So yeah, until you know, that's the thing about going into a new area. Is there's lots of question marks, and water is obviously pretty important. So can't mess around.
I've got the 3 liter bag, but it has marks obviously. So I think I'll just fill it to 2 or 1.5 or whatever, especially for around water, to just fill it right to 3 just because is a major weight penalty. So
yeah, man,
it's nice to have the option with the bigger bag, but you don't have to fill it all the way. And I actually I have a 1 liter platypus that I roll up.
Okay.
And I just kind of throw that in my top of my pack just in case. Like I technically have the ability to take 4 liters if I had to, like maybe go to the creek, bring it all back to camp and spread it around or whatever, right?
That's a good call. The other thing, it's a good thing I remember this because I keep meaning to bring it up, is so with that, the Kaitum Hiker Pro that I have, you could probably order one of these, but with your the hose on your Camelback, you can put a fitting on there.
Oh yeah.
So that you've seen it on mine where I can take the like the nipple off that you get water from. You can pop that part of it off, and you can hook the hose up from the Kaitum right to your Camelback hose, and you can fill it that way without even taking your pack off or pulling the bladder out. So you might want to look at that, because all you have to do is cut the hose, put this thing in there, and then because I have a feeling you're going to be using my pump more than yours, and it just saves you a whole shitload of time, because it's hard once your Camelback is in there, your bladder's in your pack. It's hard to get it out and
when
back
it's
in.
full,
exactly,
and tight, right?
Yeah. So that's a pretty sweet little time saver. You might want to just look at, see if you can order one.
Yes, maybe let me know which kind it is, and I'll look it up.
I think it's
Kaitum.
Kaitum, I'm sure it's. But yeah, we can have a look at that.
Cool.
Garrett might want to do the same thing too. Make life simple, because I think we were all using that pump last time.
Way quicker.
Yeah. I love that thing.
We might not even need a water filter up there, but then you're pulling your bladder out and filling it in the creek, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to just pump it in.
Yeah, I don't feel like shitting my pants if we get into some dank water anyways. It's better just run it through there for the amount of time that takes.
Just shitting in it just over the next ridge. It's crystal clear except for that.
Yeah. Or there's a dead animal upstream somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. The Kaitum is great. I used it last night too. I was up in Revelstoke for another project that we'll discuss at some point. I brought, because the Kaitum was already in my pack, because I just keep going out and hiking with that pack on every day. So I'm just like, fuck, I'll just leave everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had the Brie, and it was just me sleeping in there. I felt like a king in that thing. And it was
Nice.
awesome. It's quick to set up, super easy by yourself too. It takes like 5 minutes to set it up.
Cool.
Yeah. We should, I think it's important that one of the reasons why I've been going out with it as much as possible is just like getting used to getting a routine down to set it up, especially having that, just being familiar with the tent, so that if you're in shitty weather and it's windy and stuff like that, you're not like also trying to figure out how to set this thing up because you've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I should just like pick a patch of grass. I'll come up to your house and set the thing up a couple times or whatever. It's just good if everybody's done it once or twice and gets a feel for it. It's pretty straightforward, but there's a couple of things you have to pay attention to, mainly some of the guidelines ones that I already talked about, but there's also some rope or string that runs along the bottom underneath the vestibule. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's one on either side, and it can be on the top side of the vestibule, which is going to screw you up. If it's not on the underside while you're setting it up, you'll have to pull your pegs and run that back underneath. So there's a couple little things I noticed like that that'll just make setup faster, and mainly for those situations when there's going to be shitty, windy weather. You just want to be quick. So
throw it up in the backyard.
Yeah.
Get a routine going.
Yeah.
Even practicing like tying certain things off.
Oh yeah,
Just
I've been doing
in the
that.
habit of that like all the time. I think we should just practice that.
Put those pegs in your pocket. And the other thing, man, I'm gonna put a couple of just really small, like from an old bed sheet, wherever. I'm gonna cut some squares so we can keep stuff clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things Hilleberg really like makes clear is like keep everything free of dirt, because if you get dust and shit in your zippers, they're going to wear out over time. Your poles you want to keep clean, your pegs you want to keep clean, because as soon as you introduce dirt into your bags and stuff like that, it's just really bad for everything. So keeping all that stuff really clean. They say if you can have a little brush just to clean out your zippers, if you're in dust like that, it'll extend the life of it. So when you spend that kind of money on a tent, just worth it to spend a couple extra minutes to keep everything clean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm super happy, man. I set up the Nalo once just for fun, but I haven't used that one. So maybe you and I can get out for another bear hunt here sometime soon.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Been getting out for hikes, but not the bear hunt situation yet. So
no, I made a few trips out early, but I think it was too early. So I want to get out some more. Revelstoke, Jesus Christ. I was north of Revelstoke. Black bears everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of bears up there, man.
Like I think that would be a quick afternoon. We could go up there and be home the same day.
Yeah. Well, if you know where they are.
I know where they are, yeah. But
I find I don't know. I mean, I've seen a few bear in the Okanagan, including the one I got. I just don't feel like they're quite as big around here. But I would imagine in a place like Revelstoke or you go south to the Kootenays, you get some big ass black bears and grizz too.
Yeah, there's grizzlies there too.
Can't touch them, but
nope. The black bears I saw were like about the same size as your bear. Yeah. They always look big from far away, and then you get up close to them and like, they always look bigger.
Yeah. I think what I've learned so far in the bear realm is to just always take a step, take a breath, and really, try to judge based on something that else you see, right?
Like log or
the log or tree or something, because in your mind, every bear is going to look like this big monster.
They do, man. Yeah. From a distance, and then you get up close and like, that's not really that big.
Yeah.
But I think that's the case from what I've heard for, interior bears, that they're not as big as you think. Obviously, there are some big guys out there, but those coastal bears are much bigger. So it's interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah. Maps. You wanted to talk a bit about maps?
Yeah, we were just looking at our sheep trip here and tools available to kind of scope out the mountains and all the locations. And one of them is obviously Google Earth. But I found that Bing Maps actually has amazing imagery.
Is that only a Windows thing?
No, you can go to bing.com.
Oh, okay, because I was trying to do it see if they had an app, and it wasn't available for iPhone.
Yeah, no, So you can go online, go to Bing Maps, and you can do just the 2D. So you're just looking straight down, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you can do like a 3D, moving the map around
Right.
and getting the 3D image and
Yeah.
all that. But still, I don't know why, but they have better satellite images for
They're
some reason.
Just less cloud cover and clearer and all
Yeah,
that.
clearer. You can like really zoom in further, and it retains the clarity.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. The other one is ArcGIS, which is a free app that you can download. I think they may have just released it on Mac, but I'm not sure. Windows for sure. So if you have Windows, grab that app because it's way better than Google Earth.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 3D imagery, move it around. Imagery is better, I would say, especially up where we're looking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There seems to be 3 good map applications, and I kind of use all 3.
Yeah, why not?
And you can look and see in the same spot, right? Some of the images are newer than the other ones, and gives you a good idea. Nolan also mentioned, I think, when we were talking to him, that with Google Maps, you can use the time of day.
Yeah, that's
so you can see where the shadows are going to be and kind of make some plans based on where you think the inversion is going to be and all that kind of stuff. So I've been just doing a lot of looking on the internet. So
nice.
Those are the 3 tools I've been looking.
Cool.
Yeah.
The 3 of us, you and myself and Garrett, are going to hop on a Google Hangout here soon, because you're saying that's kind of the best way to share maps or share your screen and that. So
yep, share the screen and kind of do some ArcGIS first. Do some flyovers.
Sounds fun.
I think I know like where we're gonna get dropped off and kind of where the where our first camp's gonna be, and then we have a couple options from there. So yeah, stoked for that phone call. I think everybody's looking forward to that one. Get an idea where we're
probably
going.
be within the next 2 weeks. You and I both have some travel coming up here, so we should firm up a date for that one, because I can't wait. Fuck, it's not that far away, man.
I know.
We're almost in June.
Yep.
July, August, we're out of here.
Yep. June, I'll be in another week, I'll be in Detroit Rock City.
Nice. You're out in the hood of Detroit, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to be on the outskirts in Novi just for work trip, but we are going to make a trip into Detroit too.
Sweet, you can hop on the train or whatever.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how that one. I've never been to Detroit. I've been to Toronto.
Yeah.
I've been to New York, but I've never been to Detroit.
Yeah, Ashley's been.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, never mind. Chicago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then, a month or 2 later, you'd be almost in the Yukon. So it's kind of, it's amazing the difference between those 2 spots.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So it's cool though, moving around, meeting people. You're doing a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
Revelstoke Island. Well, you're up in the Yukon too. So
yeah. We live. I was at a campsite by myself last night, and I may have had a bomber to myself. And I was just kind of thinking, man, of like just this whole hunting thing and how lucky we are and how much this has changed our lives and the places that it's brought us, and so many cool experiences over the last 5 years. And yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah. And then you mentioned the contrast of you being in Detroit and then flying north. I had a funny experience where we were doing that blacktail hunt on the island last year.
Oh yeah.
So I was working as a film crew doing audio for that one. The next day I got back and I was working on another documentary, and these chicks were talking about vibrators and shit because it's about these couples that their spouses are in wheelchairs, and to have kids, vibrators are involved for the guy. Actually, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's such a weird contrast of being out. Yesterday we were skinning deer. Today I'm in a living room talking about vibrators and having babies. So it's strange.
It's the nature of your work.
Yeah. And then same for that Yukon trip. We spent the night sleeping under the stars and the northern lights. Next afternoon, we're on a plane, and all of a sudden we're in Vancouver. It's weird to just be brought out of those environments where you're way out in the middle of nowhere and there's no cell service, and you know, it's just you and the wilderness surrounding you, and all of a sudden you're right back in it. It's strange,
Yeah.
man. It's kind of hard to handle sometimes. It's like
Yeah.
you need to like have an opportunity to emerge from that rather than just being from here to here is always kind of hard to
Yeah.
take in.
Go where
So.
the documentary takes you.
Yeah. The other thing too that I was thinking about was like when we did our hiking trip, how weird it feels to get back into a vehicle after you've been
Yeah,
on
that's
your
right.
feet for 10 days. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm floating like in a spacecraft here. It's such a
Yeah.
strange feeling.
Yeah.
And then, all the comforts, you go to Boston Pizza and in Fort Nelson there. And yeah, it feels
Slam a few
feel like
jugs
you're
of
on
beer.
another planet. It's
Yeah.
great though, a hot shower and all that. So
Yeah, we bring this up all the time, but the amenities that we all take for granted really start to pop when
yeah,
you don't have them for 10 days.
cracking a cold beer and having a hot shower at the same time after being in the bush for that long.
Yeah.
That's worth $1 million right there.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Anyways, got a little off track there. You went fishing last weekend?
Yeah, long weekend up in, was it just BC or Canada? Can't remember what the weekend was here.
Oh, I thought you were trying to figure out where you were.
No, I was trying to figure out why we had a long weekend.
It's Victoria Day.
Victoria
I think that's
Day. BC thing.
No, I think it's Queen Victoria. Isn't that like a... Oh, you're going to drink all the...
There's just like a teaspoon left.
I know, but isn't that all the unfiltered shit in the bottom? Well, you're going to be hungover tomorrow. Let me know how that goes. Yeah, I think that's straight across Canada.
I don't think this is unfiltered. It doesn't have that.
Oh, good. You're all right.
I don't know where the other... here she is.
Nice.
I need to use the old key. But yeah, we went... let's pause for a sec. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
And we're back.
Yeah, so we went fishing on a long weekend. My dad came up, brought his boat. We did 2 days of fishing. One day was dedicated to kokanee. Yeah. And the other day was dedicated to rainbow. So we went smaller lake, kokanee fishing. Lake that used to be, like I used to fish that and get my limit every time. And it seemed like the last couple of years has been a bit of a struggle. And I don't know if it's me or not, but...
yeah, you and I went out there. I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Got our limit. Both, I think we went out there twice.
Yeah.
In like 2 hours, we were done.
Yeah, boom, done.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Dodgers and Wiggle Hoochies.
Yeah.
Or just Hoochies, little squids or whatever. It's always a fun kokanee setup because you don't get that drag of all the gang troll when you catch a fish, right? Like you have no idea you have a fish on when the gang troll's there.
Right.
So, but with that little Dodger, it's pretty cool. Those things fight pretty hard. And then, so I think we just got one kokanee. But we saw Danny Coyne out there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that looks like Danny's boat. So we drive by. I'm like, is there a blue boat following you by chance? I texted him. So he was laughing. I was trying to get some tips off of him, but he ended up with 9 fish. Jeez. The limit went to 5 a day. So he and his wife were out. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I was kind of doing the same thing, and he ends up with 9 and I end up with 1. So the only differences I could think of was he mentioned that he uses these black gloves, like the latex, not latex, but like
I remember
gloves.
him talking about that. Yeah,
and then I think he's into the scents, like using scents too. Right. So
we had a certain depth, or
yeah, I mean we're both around 20 feet, I think. So I don't know why we couldn't get any in our boat, but
man, that's like I've talked about this before. Going fishing with my old man on the Columbia River, we'd be using the same setup and throwing the bobber out in the same spot, and he's landing them like crazy, and I'm not getting anything. It would drive me fucking insane.
I think it's a state of mind in a way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess, all sorts of different things, but yeah, weird.
Just the feel of it.
It's frustrating.
But yeah, there's so many variables, right? Like, there's, you could get your lure somehow to the side of the boat with planers, or even just a Dodger that'll pull it out to the side.
Yeah.
How far everybody's putting their line back, like you don't know. Like Danny might have been 300 feet back and I was 100 feet back. Colors, depths, like it's just never ending.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the cool part about it, I guess, is just switching out those variables. I always struggle with kind of which ones you switch out first, though. I kind of do depth, and then and then I'll switch to colors.
Right.
Bit of a challenging day, but it's still fun to be out there. Next day, we went out to Okanagan Lake and we tried to find some rainbow, and we did catch one that was pretty decent size, a couple of pounds, 2 or 3 pounds.
It's like a nice fish, yeah.
Yeah. And then nothing after that, although we did kind of make our way down towards Penticton. So it's just a really nice scenic boat ride.
Gives you a different perspective on the water.
Yeah, it's really cool. Lots of, different depths. I'm always surprised because there's a lot of benches in that lake where you'll be like hundreds of yards out and it's only 80 feet deep out of nowhere. And then you go another 100 feet into the middle of the lake and you're all of a sudden at 400 feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of cool being out there with a depth finder and just learning the bottom of the lake and all that. So, yeah, the only lure that worked was a plug. It was a Shazam. They're kind of like black and silver with a little lightning bolt on the side, red. But basically in that lake, what you're trying to do is match the kokanee. So whatever the kokanee look like in that season is basically what the trout are going to be feeding on. So you want to match that. So kind of silvers and greens. And then once you get to fall, you can kind of switch out for some pinks and that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I like fishing. It's not as active, obviously, as hunting, but it's one and the same. It's a challenge, and you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the fun part about it. And if it does happen, you fill your freezer. So harvesting food, it's all kind of good memories too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You had something you wanted to read. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Do you ever go on the Wildlife Society website?
No.
I think they do the Journal of Wildlife Management.
Okay.
Mark Hall has, I kind of got this website off of him.
I have been on there.
Referenced it a few times. Yeah. They have one article on there that I thought was kind of interesting. A survey that the University of Minnesota, Colorado, Ohio, they did a survey on who identifies themselves as a traditionalist and who identifies themselves as a mutualist. So a traditionalist is someone that kind of, believes in wildlife management and wildlife is a resource. They kind of have most likely a hunting, angling background, maybe farming, ranch, predator management. They kind of believe in all that kind of stuff. And then the mutualists are more the folks that believe that animals are on the same level playing field as humans, right? So it's kind of I don't know. I mean, I think anybody could kind of argue for either point in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd to group people in those type of buckets, but it was basically please self-identify with whatever if you think you're one of these two things. Traditionalists came out at 28% and mutualists were 35%. So the traditionalists have declined 6% in the last 14 years.
Wow.
And mutualists are increasing 4% in the last 14 years.
And
they kind of went into like the demographic of each group. And the traditionalists were kind of not surprisingly, the rural crowd, hunting, angling, and mutualists are more the city crowd and obviously a lot more diverse.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think it's an interesting, and it's something we've been talking about. It's just an interesting point about the whole PR perspective of hunting and wildlife management. And I just try to think about how can we include more people. And we talk about the education side. How do we educate people about it? How do we include different folks with different backgrounds?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the key, because if if people are just trying to hang on to this practice or this activity from, trying to keep it to themselves, I don't think it's going to last very long.
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger danger than wolves. I think we got to include a lot of people and get people talking about it on the same page, and that is probably going to help us out in the long run.
Yeah, well, here's what I was going to say is that I think that's probably a byproduct of people spending less time outdoors. They're just out of touch.
Yeah.
When you do spend more time outdoors, then all these things make more sense, right? It was interesting, man, going back to just me being in Revelstoke, sitting by the lake by myself, nobody around, quiet. Even though I'm someone who spends a lot of time outdoors, every bit of free time I have is spent on a hiking trail or whatever, just sitting in a quiet space like that. I'm like, man, there's something different about this being so far away from the city and noise. All I could hear was like a rush of a creek running across the lake, like, cause it's spring. So you could just sort of hear like this constant roar, and that was the only sound. That and birds. I heard a loon at like 4:45 this morning in the lake, which was pretty cool. And then there was crows, and I'm like, this is definitely something that we're all missing. It just feels like it's good for your soul, man, to be out there and
Yeah, exactly.
and just have some fucking quiet without a phone ringing, because there's no cell service out there or anything. It's like, man, this is, it's kind of alarming, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't realize it until you're out there.
Yeah, and folks like Dylan at Eat Wild, they're kind of reaching out and trying to get folks involved, and not even hunting, but like you say, just being out there and camping and getting out there.
Yeah, man.
It's super important.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, the issues like wolves and all these difficult issues that we have to talk about and in some cases do something about in certain areas, it becomes much more easier to have those conversations when people are connected.
Yeah, they have something to relate to. Yeah,
we're kind of having these conversations with a wall in some cases. So how do you remove the wall and then have that effective conversation?
You can't unless you get them out there. Yeah.
So I think this article kind of just speaks to that underlying root problem, right? Is people, what we consider the public and what they think is changing.
Yeah.
And continues to change. And it seems to be going in that other direction of mutualist, right? So what do we do with that? I don't know. But it's just something we all need to consider.
Yeah.
Especially in the approach moving forward.
Absolutely.
Conversations, obviously.
Yeah.
But still.
Well, if you made it this far.
That's what you get.
Anything to add before we wrap things up, Cal?
No, I don't think so. This Fieldhouse Pilsner is pretty good.
It's tasty. Well, cheers. This episode of Rookie Hunter was brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation, Sitka Gear, and North Arm Knives. As always, it is hosted by Kelly Mullner and myself, Mike Peterson. It is recorded, edited, and produced at Mountain Stream Audio Productions in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Original music written by the one and only Kelly Mullner with help from Graham Ord, Darcy Booth, and Chip Sleedermean. If you want to help us out, there's one thing you can do. You can go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And don't forget to subscribe. For more on the show, head over to our website, theRookieHunter.com.